Thank you for having me. This is the agenda I will go through. Very short introduction as we have not too much time. I'm going to talk about the challenges that we have in the supermarket and in the cold storage. I'm going to show you some solutions and its functions and a couple of case studies to really show that what I'm telling you is the truth, and also show you some benefits of the air curtains, and then end with a final summary. So we have some challenges in the supermarkets, and luckily we have a product called air curtain that could help us to solve these challenges. You know, air curtains are used to separate two different temperature zones. We heard before that it's very important to keep and maintain the cold chain, because otherwise we have a lot of heat losses, and we have a lot of wastage of food as well. Because if it's amazing, but actually 1/3 of all the food is wasted today, and that depends a lot on that we cannot maintain the cold chain. And actually, if food would be a country today, it would be equivalent to the third biggest country in the world when it comes to emissions of CO2. So that's incredible. So we must all help to avoid this big food wastage. As I said before, we have some challenges when it comes to supermarkets and cold storage. And that depends that a lot of the shops, they would like to work with open doors. And when you have an open door, what's happening? Yes, the cold conditioned air, it's leaking out, and the warm air gets into the shop. And you have to make the cooling equipment work even harder. You have a lot of gases also coming in from the street, unclean air, pollution, and also smells. And when it comes to cold storage, there you have a big problem, because if you don't have a good protection, you have a lot of condensation coming to the cold storage instead. And when condensation comes in, meeting the cold air, yes, you can see what happens. You have a lot of ice building up as well. That takes a lot of time to de-ice or defrost. So it's a huge problem. So we really need to have a good protection at the door. And what many people do in order to protect the door, they use these plastic strips, PVC strips. They work very well in the beginning, but after a short while, yes, you have this condensation and ice building up on the PVC strips. So you have a very poor visibility. So it's a great risk of accidents. Because if you have been to a cold storage, you see these forklift trucks running in and out in the cold storage, and accidents can happen. And if you try to pass food, vegetables through these plastic strips, it's not so hygienic either. So it's a poor solution. Here are some graphics showing what's happening if you don't have a protection. You see the warm air gets into the premises. To the left is the cold storage, and the cold air, more heavy, is leaking out. The same thing to the left with the temperature camera. We are showing how the cold blue air is leaking out. And the same thing with the smoke, showing that in the top of the door, it's leaking in, And when it comes down, the cold air is pushing out the smoke. So these are the thermic laws, so to say. So we have some solutions, of course. We simply put an air curtain. I'm going to show you some graphics, how it works. Later on, in reality, I'll show you as well. Here with the same cold storage. Now we start the air curtain, and you can see how the cold blue air is pushed back into the cold storage.
Excuse me,
finally,
Jan.
yes.
I also see a little bit of a problem with your audio. You are fading in and out a little bit too much. Can you try to speak a little bit louder at least? I don't know why it is.
Sure.
But
Sure.
try to speak yeah, more stronger. Thank you.
Okay. So what we produce and what we propose is an air curtain that can cover the complete door. And we recommend a cross-flow fan that cover the whole door instead of radial fans that you can see to the left have some gaps so the air can get through. And it's also very important to have a good nozzle in order to create a good laminar flow for the air curtain. And in order to have that, we need a good grill, outlet grill, in order to create a long throw length of the air curtain. And also, it's very important to combine with the right air velocity. Too low speed, you can imagine, is not good enough. The warm air will press into the cold storage. Too high speed, as you see on the right, down to the right, will create turbulence, and that is not good either. So you have to adjust it in order to have the correct speed. So you have to have correct speed, the right laminar flow, and the right air volume to create an optimal installation. And in order to create the right speed, we are using easy fans because you can regulate them stepless. And it's not only for that, we are using the easy fans or easy motors. As you all know, we've seen before, it has a lot less energy consumption, up to 70% less energy consumption compared to the regular AC fan. So in order to show you that what I've said is, I have some, let's say, facts behind, we are constantly making case studies. We are checking our units in real conditions in cold storage. Here, for example, we have a freezer room, 20 square meter, with an inside temperature of 23 minus, outside 30 degrees. And we checked the energy consumption during a month, and we got these figures. And after a month, we took away the plastic strips and installed our air curtain and did the same test, and we got this result. So by taking away the plastic strips, installing the air curtain, we managed to reduce the energy consumption with 27%. And that, of course, that is money. So besides all the other advantages we've seen before, this is the real fact, what this air curtain can do. We did the same in a convenience store. We installed the air curtain and we measured the energy consumption for this convenience store. And putting up the air curtain, we managed to reduce the energy consumption with 26%. Other benefits of the air curtain is that by installing the air curtain, we can also have a more even temperature in the cold storage. So we have less fluctuations. And that, of course, that will help the lifetime of the cooling units. And also it's a better preservation of the food, of course. You can see here we have, if we take away these plastic strips and we install air curtains instead, we have an improved visibility as well. And that means also less risk of accidents. And of course, we have less condensation going into the cold storage, less building up of ice. The defrost time is less as well, the cooling units. So you can imagine there are quite a lot of advantages by using the air curtains. Here to the left, you can see what's happening. Here we turn off the air curtain, and immediately you can see that the condensation enters the room. We do the same to the right, but here we leave the air curtain on. Maybe you can see some condensation around the lamp in the ceiling, but a big difference. So one of the case studies we've done, we did at the Tesco premises, in their supermarkets and in their cold storage. It turned out very well, so now they are replacing all their plastic strips in the cold storage with air curtains, because they saw a payback time of less than 2 years. They also continued with the supermarkets and installed their air curtains for the entrances. So what we say, the optimal solution for the supermarkets, for the doors, you have a sliding door, and on top of that, the air curtain. And when it comes to cold storage, you do the same thing. We install the air curtain, and we have all these benefits that you've seen before. Better economy, it's better for the environment, it's more hygienic, we have less maintenance, we have a safer workplace, and as I started with, it protects the cold chain. We are able to reduce the food waste.